Alright folks, I have hesitated to make this video because I know how people like to play the whole, my dad could beat up your dad game with whatever, the sports teams, politicians, and yes, flight controllers. So I know that the minute I say anything vaguely negative about KISS, which as you can anticipate I'm going to do, the KISS lovers will come out in arms and they will turn into a schoolyard ruckus. And I hate that, and I do not want that to happen. But people are asking regularly, what do you think of KISS? When are you going to try KISS? And I feel like just staying silent is also sort of not the best thing for me to do. Because here's the thing. I gave KISS a try. I love Betaflight, but just because I love Betaflight doesn't mean that other things in the world aren't fantastic, like KISS or Raceflight. I don't want to do the whole schoolyard, my dad can beat up your dad thing, okay? There can be more than one good flight controller in the world. Go figure. You can like KISS, I can like Betaflight, I can like KISS and Betaflight. It's a great wide world. But I tried KISS. I said, you know what? Actually, a kind viewer sent me a KISS flight controller he wasn't going to use. And I thought, I owe it to him. I owe it to him, even if I don't want to personally dying to do it, to give it a try. So I had a copter, and my X-Racer, I dropped a dab of super glue on it and killed it. Is the short version of the story. And so I needed a flight controller to put it, and I said, what the hell? I'll put the KISS in there, and I'll give it a try. And I spent about 3 hours, maybe 2 hours. It gets longer every time I tell the story. I spent about some number of hours trying to get it working. And again, I don't want to go on a long rant here, but number one, you can't use the Zadig WinUSB driver that is used for all the CleanFlight and Betaflight boards with KISS. You have to use the standard Windows driver. So I have to uninstall the driver that lets me flash all my other flight controllers that I own. And that's what I need to do if I want to update the KISS firmware. And then, instead of using a nice, convenient configurator GUI, I have to download Defuse and all that BS. So fine. So if I had KISS in my Roundup, every time I wanted to flash it, I would have to change my driver, reboot my computer, flash the KISS, change my driver back using Zadig, reboot, etc. What a pain in the butt. Okay, but fine. Set that aside. After doing all of that, and by the way, how hard was it to find the most recent KISS firmware also? I mean, I'm no slouch when it comes to Google. It took me forever to find. Now you guys are going to be like, oh, you're so dumb. You couldn't find it. It's right here. Thank you. Okay, I'm dumb. Whatever. It took me forever to find it. Okay, so then I go in and I'm trying to do the configuration. And here's the next problem I run into. I have BL Heli ESCs, not KISS ESCs. I use BL Heli Suite to configure them using Betaflight and CleanFlight pass-through, right? So I have stick programming turned off because I don't want my settings to get accidentally screwed up if the throttle is not right for some reason, as is standard practice in the BL Heli world. Well, so I swap my flight controller and I solder it up. And I realized that my endpoints are not configured correctly. In fact, my ESCs won't initialize because the KISS 1000 microsecond signal is they're not seeing zero throttle. They think the throttle is up and they won't initialize. And there's no way I can I tried setting min command in KISS to like 950. I tried a bunch of different things and I couldn't get it to work. I needed to calibrate my ESCs, but I can't calibrate them because the KISS way of calibrating them is, I don't know what the KISS way is. I don't know. It's made to work with the KISS ESCs. And there's some way to do it that doesn't involve using BL Heli pass-through. You can't use BL Heli pass-through on KISS. So what I would have had to do is desolder. These are hard soldered. Desolder my ESCs, find some way to connect them up to an Arduino, because of course it's just bare wires. There's no pins or servo connectors. Find some way to connect them to an Arduino, turn on, make the configuration changes and solder them back up again. And that was the point where I said, forget this. Forget this. And this is the short version of the story. There is a whole lot more dicking around. For example, I use aux1 to ARM, right? And I have aux1 high for disarm and low for ARM because that's the way all my copters are set up. But KISS doesn't give you the option to do like the modes tab because KISS is simple, which means it lacks functionality is the bottom line. And it means that you can only ARM when the aux channel is low or high, whichever one I don't use. So now I have to I have to set up a whole new model in my Taranis instead of using the same model that I use for all my other copters, and I have to change the way the aux channel works for arming. Now that's a tiny little nit to pick. The big stuff that stopped me was the driver issue and the lack of clean flight pass-through or BLHeli pass-through, which means that I can't program any of my ESCs the way that I normally do, which is kind of a big deal. You could say, oh, well, you suck for using BLHeli ESCs entirely. You should use KISS ESCs. They're wonderful. You don't have to configure them. Well, I don't, and that's just that. So I went into it with the absolutely pure intention of giving KISS a completely fair shake and coming out of it saying, hey, this is great. I wanted to make a video. I said, this is great. You know, and get rid of that schoolyard BS where I like BLHeli and I hate KISS and you suck if you like KISS, right? But I didn't come out of it that way because it's not for me. It's not for me. But because I use BLHeli and I use Betaflight and CleanFlight. And if you're going to use KISS, it doesn't feel like KISS is intended to be compatible with somebody using both. The mindset is completely different. The freaking driver that you use to flash it is completely different. So when you ask me, what do you think of KISS? I think KISS is not for me. I think KISS is probably wonderful, and people whose opinion I respect love it, like Final Glide and other top pilots love it. They love it for a reason, and one of those reasons is that in some way it's very good, or they wouldn't use it. People like Final Glide and Mr. Steele, they don't use crap. KISS is good, but KISS is not for me. But I want you to know that I did my due diligence as a reviewer and YouTube, whatever. I don't want you guys thinking that there's something out there that I'm like, no, not touching it, not for me. I don't like KISS. I did try it. It didn't work out for me. I don't intend to go back, because it doesn't feel compatible with the ecosystem that I'm in, and I'm happy in that ecosystem. So that's the answer. And as always, happy flying.